The Department of Labor has announced a plan to shut down Job Corps centers across the country. The training program for low-income youth was established more than 50 years ago, and the White House said the program was too costly and had a low success rate. Now the Job Corps Association is filing a restraining order to stop the closure of the 99 nationwide campuses. Here to discuss this and more is Manny Garcia, Executive Director of Driving Hope Foundation, which is a partner of Job Corps. Good morning to you, Manny. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Hi, good morning, Kelvin. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Let's get into this, Manny. What's the short-term and long-term impacts of the Job Corps closing? I know it means so much to so many. I'm originally from Michigan, and I remember being in different places where, again, that was a vital part of the community.
Yeah, so short-term is just chaos. There was a lot of chaos. When this order came around last Thursday, we kind of went into crisis mode. We had to scramble to try to find housing for some of our students that were in our programs that come through Job Corps that we know didn't have housing. And so, we spent the rest of that week trying to secure housing. And luckily, the Job Corps was able to get a temporary restraining order, kind of put a pause on essentially this eviction notice that all these students had received. So we got a little reprieve.
Let me ask you this, Manny. There's some folks watching right now who may say, I have no idea what Job Corps is or why it's vital or why it's so important to the community and so many people. Give us a little bit more breakdown of what it does and what it, why it's impactful for folks.
Yeah, well, what's important about that is the population that Job Corps serves. Job Corps serves 17 to 24-year-old, some of our most vulnerable population. Many of them come from really difficult circumstances, homelessness, foster care system, often don't have high school diplomas or GEDs. Job Corps offers them a real path forward. Right now, there are thousands of Job Corps students on the verge of graduating, earning life-changing certifications, and shutting down a program like this would just be devastating to their futures.
I can imagine. Let me ask you about the legal action that's being taken by Job Corps to avoid the shutdown, and just to give us an update where things stand now.
Well, like I said, they were able to get a temporary restraining order, which at least stopped and put a pause on removing students from the program. What's important to note here is just we're in LA. Just the Los Angeles Job Corps alone houses almost 600 17 to 24 vulnerable youth. And when this order came, we immediately went into crisis mode because we know a lot of those students didn't have anywhere to go.
Okay, yeah, obviously that would put a strain on you all trying to make things work out for those young folks. So the White House, Manny, they say that the program is too costly and has a low success rate when it comes to actually helping young adults find jobs and also receive proper training. An April report from the Labor Department says the Corps operated at a $140 million deficit with a graduation rate of only 39%. Is there a reason for this large deficit? How do you respond to that information?
Yeah, I think quoting a deficit is kind of an interesting talking point because to me, what it reflects is a lack of funding. The Job Corps program budget hasn't been increased in the last 8 years. And I think, all of us know we've seen tremendous strain on the economy with inflation and other challenges. We just are still recovering from a pandemic. So to not have your budget increase for the last 10 years and then be knocked for running a deficit, that's an interesting narrative.
And, we talked about, Manny, you were explaining what it does, what Job Corps is and how it helps people. But after the young adults finish the program, right, what's the Corps' role in development in the workforce? Maybe you said till 24 years old, but kind of moving forward, what else does it do?
Yeah, so the Job Corps program, they do an amazing job of staying connected with their graduates, tracking their progress post-graduation, and they have their finger on the pulse of the workforce. And so when employers need, some of the largest employers in the nation rely on this pipeline of Job Corps graduates.
Get you out of here on this one. We've been talking about what the government may be cutting as far as funds to Job Corps, but you've been also saying what it does. So what's the future of Job Corps associations moving into the rest of the decade? How do you see this playing out?
Well, Job Corps is a proven model. It's a program that's been around for over 60 years. And during that entire time, it's had bipartisan support. So we're confident that the program will continue to be valued and seen as the effective program that it is. We just have to, let this play out, I think.
All right, let it play out indeed. We'll see what happens. Manny Garcia, I thank you for spending time with us. We appreciate it. Executive Director of Driving Hope Foundation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.